This is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about.
Get real.
No.
This
Just
is
stop.
a sham.
It's finally here. Drum roll.
Welcome to DBL. Happy Thursday, everybody. Sam Shocker in the house.
I don't know why I did that.
I like that. I like that.
Right.
All right, guys, let's get to it. Unless Sam wants to do that one more time.
Okay, you want me to?
Yeah. That'll make a good gif. You can do it. All right. So Beyonce kicked off her Renaissance World Tour in Stockholm, Sweden last night. Queen Bee proved once again she is that girl with lavish, futuristic-looking costumes and amazing set designs with pyrotechnics, I should say.
Look at the horse.
Of course, pyrotechnics shooting out from the stage. At one point, Beyonce was joined by two giant robot arms. Where are they?
What?
Oh, here we go.
And she's framed like Instagram. See that?
Unbelievable.
Oh, all right. She was also suspended in the air on a giant silver horse. Careful up there, Beyonce.
Please.
And she took her queen bee reputation to heart by dressing up as a bee. Wow. Some fans noticed Beyonce's performance was more restrained, with some saying she might be recovering from an injured foot or foot surgery. Still, her tour is expected to make, get this, $2.4 billion, 500 million more than T Swift.
Yo, somebody check on our
Jeray.
our makeup artist Jeray, our creative director. He has fallen off. Yesterday, someone was live streaming, and Jeray, I had to warn him. It wasn't don't drink and drive. It was don't Beyonce and drive. Because he was so far in his phone, like, oh Lord. Yes.
Clutching his pearls.
Yes.
I mean, first of all, she is by far the most talented musician right now.
500 million more than the second place. Ooh.
Who's in second place?
Taylor.
Well, yeah, because Beyonce is the most talented.
I know, but
mean, look at that.
I know,
it.
but should we be comparing her and Taylor? Is that fair?
You know what I always think
That's a
of
good
with
question,
Beyonce
actually.
and Taylor? You know what I always think of? Kanye, when he took that thing and Beyonce won, and what did she do? She brought up Taylor Swift and said, finish your speech. I always liked the two of them as strong females and two different places. I think they would get along great.
Well,
I don't know why I'm up here.
I think it's more of just comparison in terms of revenue, because we know how much people ride for Taylor Swift. We know that scale, so it's really not comparing. And I because we never do this with men, it only comes up with women.
Right.
So I don't think that they have an issue. There's no
at all.
I don't think there's beef there.
Right.
But I do think that it's a very it's an incredible feat to have that much money coming in. Beyonce is like my comeback queen, because not that she ever went anywhere, but the way that she's been able to reinvent herself and the audiences that she has brought along the way has just grown over, continents and socioeconomic statuses and gender. It's incredible. So I know that Jeray's really excited to see the concert in Vegas.
Yes.
And I can't wait to hear about it. I think we need to give him a segment to tell us all about it.
Yes,
Yeah.
I'm right there with you, Miss Erica Cobb.
And to be fair, Beyonce's on a world tour.
Oh, it's global.
T Swift is local.
That's a good point. Local. Easy there. You better shake it off.
And to be fair, men have this conversation all the time about Michael Jordan, LeBron James, Tom Brady. Men have fights.
But that's in sports. Like
Well, I don't even know if I can say that anymore. Let's move on. Okay. All right, so I'm scared. So Ben and JLo attended the premiere of her new movie, The Mother. The couple walked hand in hand on the red carpet. They stopped for post for some pics, joked around, even snuck in a little kissy poo, huh? But that didn't stop some tabloids from posting photos of the two looking like they were having a tense discussion. Listen, we've debunked this before, and I've been on Ben's side. We've showed him happy at the Grammys or whatever it was when everyone said they were fighting. Why did the tabloids just pick on
I don't
Ben
know.
like
but
this?
I have to laugh because it's relatable. Even if they have these moments of bickering or it just looks that way, it's normal. even if they were bickering, it's normal.
But
Leave
you
them
look at
alone.
it in a positive side. Most people look like they're always fighting because they don't know the true relationship, right? Is that fair?
Right. I think Ben's done a nice job of going on the talk shows and making fun of himself.
Yeah.
And it's sort of, now he's in on the joke and it's sort of okay. I also think if you show that picture again, he could have been like, where's the car?
Yes.
You know what I
Right.
mean? It's this way.
I understand that because
That's actually a great description.
I mean, it very well could have been. There's a restaurant in our neighborhood that my husband and I love to go to, and we go probably 2 to 3 times a month. And they know us there. And one time, the waitress came over and she was like, "Oh, I didn't want to interrupt you." She's like, "It seemed like you were having a very important conversation, but really, I was just saying what had happened earlier that day." And I was like, "And then." I was like, "Oh, this is all gesturing." And then I turned to her like, "Where's my Sauv Blanc?" And she's like, "Oh, I didn't want to bring it over." I was like, "Oh no, I was telling the story." So then I turned to her and I was like, "So what happened?"
She's all into it.
But she thought I was screaming at Anthony, and Anthony goes, "I told you how it comes across." And I'm like, I can't help it. I can't. I'm just a demonstrative person.
I'm with you there. I'm like to Jordan, I'm like, we're gonna have crab for dinner. Why wouldn't you want crab? And then Leighton, my youngest one's like, stop fighting, separate. And then Jordan goes, listen, don't you guys know that's just the way your dad talks about everything? We're not fighting. But he learned like in school, he's like, no fighting, separate. And I'm like, I'm talking about dinner.
No fighties. No fighties.
I guess that's just how we talk, Erica.
Yes.
So if we were getting
maybe a Chicago thing.
Think about it. You were like, hey, where's the next
direct.
Yeah. What on Vanderpump Rules?
Not quite like that, though. Not quite like
A
that.
little much.
You guys ruined my segue.
Oh, yeah, go.
Sorry.
Go.
Put on Vanderpump Rules.
Yay!
Oh, speaking of, on to some Vanderpump Rules tea. We're getting more insight into Tom Sandoval's big-time betrayal of his girlfriend Ariana. So let's dive in. Sam, I know you're a Thursday girl like me. We wait till tonight to watch it.
Seen it.
Yes.
Okay, but let me break this down. Tom confronted Ariana about the lack of intimacy in their relationship. Ariana then suggested it was because Tom wasn't spending enough time with her. By the way, he mentioned they only had sex 4 times a year. I got to throw that out there. Meantime, Raquel, who is having a secret affair with Tom this whole time, right now while she's having this conversation, told Ariana that her fears and insecurities about her relationship with Tom were, quote, all in her head while she was having the affair.
Gaslight.
Raquel, the saddest thing about this is Raquel thought she was having like her comeback season, right? Because she was finally single and hanging out with the girls. She had no idea that her gaslighting, manipulative, lack of empathetic ways would be broadcast to the whole world.
Karma.
I don't see this as gaslighting. I see this as being a snake in the grass.
Yeah.
Both. Both can be
but
true.
I think gaslighting is a little like, it's kind of getting her off, like easy.
Yep.
When you are calculated in this way, that's a completely different thing than I think they're both equally, and I'm sure that there's examples of that, but she's a snake.
She's a snake.
She needs to be cut off at the head.
Yeah, the words when it's in your head, it's in your head. That's true. That's girl code 101. You out.
She's sleeping with her best friend's husband almost.
Yeah.
And telling her to her face,
and confronting
it's all in
her
head.
about it.
So
I
nasty.
can't.
That is so nasty.
Listen, you want to talk
And
about
telling
passion?
her to sleep with her man more while she's sleeping with that man.
Oh my God, that's so messy.
Listen, we have
Messy is
multiple
demonic.
shows in here and we cover everything. This is the passion. This is the passion project at DBL. It is.
You want to see this much passion?
Yes.
Okay.
But you've never seen it, Tori.
Yeah, I'm kind of trying to get involved, but I got FOMO. Okay.
Coming up on DBL, our interview with 80s icon Andrew McCarthy. What was it like reuniting with the Brat Pack? Plus, we're getting a closer look into the lives of Arnold Schwarzenegger and Sly Stallone. We're talking about their new reality shows next.
DBL, this show is amazing.
There's a lot going on down here.
I would have been part of the Mile High Club.
Yeah.
So on point. But
I'm gonna have a conversation about what's happening now. All right, Jeff.
So me and my wife, I think I like it more than her, to be honest with you. So we always, Vanderpump Rules airs on Wednesday night, but at 10 o'clock at night, I'm already like asleep by then. So we wait till Thursday nights to watch it. And this morning I knew we were talking about it. So my wife went to go drop the kids off, and I secretly popped it on for 15 minutes. I wasn't going to tell her. I was just going to pretend.
So much trouble.
I know. I felt like dirt. I felt dirty.
You should feel dirty.
I watched 15 minutes before work.
Not cool.
I know. Don't tell her. Don't tell her I watched.
Yeah. Well, she's gonna know because she's gonna see it. Do you watch on the Bravo app?
What do you mean? Oh, yeah.
It's gonna show that little bit.
She doesn't know. She doesn't know.
It's gonna show. And that's how.
I'm going to start from the beginning and be like, did it start yet?
No,
Look at that.
I get caught all the time.
You can do it.
Because then the app shows watched.
She
if
doesn't
you watch
look at all that.
But when you turn it on, it says watch, or it has.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yes.
It does say watch.
That's what I mean.
You're right.
You better
Even if
get
you
in there
watch-
early.
So my husband is a night owl. Now I've accepted that Mark now watches Vanderpump Rules without me. Yeah, because he's a night owl, and I've accepted it. It's okay. But in the beginning, I was really upset.
Yeah.
But now, to Erica's point, I will see the watched, and I'll be like,
So
he's a night owl, and he wants to
But it's
see
not
it.
the same. You want to view it together.
It's
That's
okay.
such
Just
a
so
good
I
idea.
have my together is my glass of buttery chard tonight. I don't drink that often, but Thursday nights I wake up Thursday morning so excited for my glass of buttery chard and Vanderpump Rules.
That's so cute. It's
can't
gonna be a
wait.
good night for you.
I can't wait.
That's exciting.
It's a great night.
It's true.
I'm excited to prune my peonies. I'm gonna bring some in for you guys all. They're
rain?
blooming. What do you mean?
Welcome back. Two of the biggest action stars of the 80s are showing their softer side in some new projects. So first, Arnold Schwarzenegger is talking about the impact his affair on his wife, Maria Shriver, and their family in a new 3-part docuseries on Netflix. Let's take a peek.
It was very tough on my marriage, on my relationship with the kids. I have caused enough pain for my family. I'm gonna have to live with it the rest of my life.
Why did you give up?
Well, because my vision didn't talk about giving up. My vision was climbing that mountain.
Ooh, so what do we think about that before we move on?
Appreciate the honesty.
I love these. Kevin Hart had one, I can't think of what it was called off top, but it was like, you really want to see and hear. A lot of people are like, no, you messed up. I don't ever want to hear or see you again. But I want to hear like what happens, like where you are, like psychologically, you know, like do you regret it? Are you trying to make amends? Like that part of the comeback story is, to me, more interesting than the scandal.
And it's human. It's human. We're all human, and I think at the end of the day, if someone's going through it at home and they don't feel like that they're alone, because Arnold Schwarzenegger or Maria Shriver went through it and came out on the other side, whatever that may be, I think it gives a lot of people the confidence to keep going.
Absolutely.
Agreed.
Speaking of keep going, Sylvester Stallone is also letting the cameras into his home. I saw this coming, though, if you follow him. The documentary has his life as a family man in a new reality show. His daughters told Hoda Kotb that dating can be a challenge when Rocky, or Rambo, I should say. It's Rocky, but if he's your dad, watch.
You know, he's quite intimidating.
Yes.
Most of the time when they come over to meet the parents, they don't necessarily return.
Yeah.
Simply because he's just so scary.
I'm pretty nice.
Well, yeah, you're friendly.
He's cleaning his knives.
He doesn't say
he's
hello.
shaking hands.
I don't trust their
scaring
intentions.
people.
So his daughters are very active on social media. So this is going to be good, being Rambo and Rocky and then the 4 daughters. That's kind of interesting.
And I'm interested, remember the wife and he had sort of a falling out. There was some issue there. I wonder if they'll delve into that. But how interesting the 2 masculine men are getting into the more softer side. I think that's lovely to see and goes with the social climate, don't
like
you?
that.
Yeah.
I just think that's what happens to men when they get to a certain
they get
age.
squishy.
I
I
don't
love
even
it.
recognize my father anymore.
I know.
He sent me a text and it had like a heart reverberating
It
thing. I was
did.
like,
Hey, Roosevelt.
It's
Let me-
I know. And they get
Good for him.
teary-eyed just
Yeah.
speaking about anything. I'm like, Dad,
Yeah.
wow. I love it.
Do you find yourself that way?
Dude, I almost cried when you just said teary-eyed. We'll be right back.
Okay, so be honest. Is flossing really a part of your daily routine? Well, the American Dental Association recommends flossing at least once a day, and there is research tying flossing to heart health. So does that mean not flossing actually turns into heart disease? Let's get the facts. Our sources, cardiologist Dr. Paul Coley, Dr. Sasha Ross, periodontist for the Cleveland Clinic, the American Dental Association, and a study published in the National Library of Medicine.
There's really a very strong association between the two, where patients that have periodontal disease are at a much greater risk for having, heart disease.
Dr. Coley also reiterates that people who have gum disease are at a 2 to 3 times higher risk of developing heart disease. This study shows gum disease is associated with inflammation and bacteria in the heart.
The plaque in the heart, around the heart and the arteries that causes strokes and heart attacks is made up of cholesterol deposit and inflammation. And what we find is that bacteria from the mouth can sometimes be found in the plaque around the heart.
However, according to the American Dental Association, while there is evidence of a correlation between gum disease and heart disease, it's not clear whether one causes the other.
This is just a marker for poor general health. You're not taking care of your gums and you're not taking care of your heart. Or is there something causal? In other words, does the bacteria that builds up in your mouth or the inflammation that builds up in your mouth lead to more systemic inflammation that can also cause hardening of the arteries or cause that bacteria to create inflammation in the arteries? That we don't yet know.
Dr. Ross notes the risk also depends on the person. Some people who barely floss or brush have no heart problems whatsoever. As doctors continue to study the connection between the two, both Coley and Ross say keep good hygiene and good health. It certainly wouldn't hurt to add flossing to your routine. With your Verify Fact Check, I'm Megan Bragg.
Welcome back. Imagine walking 500 miles with a teenager. Well, 80s star Andrew McCarthy did just that and wrote a book about it. Earlier, he told us about his trip with his son and about his upcoming documentary about the Brat Pack. I can't wait. Check it out.
Andrew McCarthy, welcome to DBL.
Thanks. Good to be with you.
Andrew, I have to ask, your new book, Walking with Sam, it's about walking the Camino de Santiago with your son, Sam. And I wanted you to just paint the picture to our audience, what the Camino de Santiago is and why it was so important you wanted to walk it.
Yeah, it's an ancient pilgrimage route across the north of Spain for 500 miles. You walk over mountains, through cities, through desolate fields of wheat. It was something I did 25 years earlier when I was a younger man, and it was a life changer for me, and I'd always wanted to do it again, and so I invited my soon-to-be adult son.
Wow, what a bonding experience. So you just mentioned this was your journey, literally, 25 years ago. So what did you learn about yourself the second time compared to the first time you did the walk?
Well, the first time I was in a very different place in life. I had no kids. I was on my own. I just sort of was coming out of that period of early success with the Brat Pack and all that stuff. And I think I was suffering from a bit of what we now call the imposter syndrome, in the sense I didn't think I deserved what I'd gotten in a certain way. And it helped me really sort of walk home to myself, if that makes any sense. And I also discovered how much fear I sort of carried into the world. And it was a really liberating experience, really life-changing. And as my son, 25 years later, as he was sort of cusping adulthood, I wanted to have the opportunity to try and get to know him as a young man, as opposed to just as a kid, and we get the opportunity to sort of see him and for him to see me in a way that we sometimes don't with those we love.
I love that because it forces you to really get to know your child, right? You're not distracted by the electronics and all of that. And what I found really compelling in the book is Sam was going through a breakup during the trip, but he also brought up your divorce from his mother. Why was it important for you to be honest with him about relationships, specifically about yours with his mom? I mean, I was really impressed, by the way.
Well, I mean, if we're not going to be honest with our kids, who are we going to be honest with, And I think that notion of divorce is, that was a conversation we'd had many, many times through his life. I think the first time him and his mom and I got divorced when Sam was 2. And so, yet we talked about it dozens of times over the years. But each time as a child gets older, they have a deeper understanding of this kind of stuff. And so I think, everyone has a right to know what's about things that are affecting them deeply, So I just felt it was, he had every right to know what the deal was.
On the last day of the trip, Sam said walking the Camino was the only 10 out of 10 thing that he has done in his life. How did this make you feel hearing this after spending weeks with him?
I cried.
Yeah, of course. I almost cried asking you that.
Yeah, I know. Well, it's interesting because day 2, he said, "Dad, what's the point of this walk?" And he didn't say. So to have him get to, it's the only 10 out of 10 thing I've ever done in my life. I knew that the event happened for him, just the way it had happened for me the first time I did it.
The journey is different for everyone. That's right. Now, you're making a documentary about the Brat Pack. You recently reunited with Rob Lowe, Emilio Estevez, and it had been over 30 years since y'all had seen each other. What was it like being in a room with them again? Was it like time had never passed?
It was kind of like it was yesterday, And it was great because we had so much affection for each other in a way that I don't think we did when we were young. When we were young, competitive and insecure and stuff, and to just come back, and we were members of this club that we didn't even really ask to join, and we're bonded together forever. Yeah. To a certain generation of people, we are the avatars of their youth, and so to see everybody again, it was really surprisingly touching.
Oh man. Well, let's talk about the thing that brought you together, because do you feel like the Brat Pack label is what distanced you all from each other, or do you think you would have been in each other's lives all these years if the Brat Pack was not a thing?
I think that's a really good point. I mean, I'm sure we naturally would have drifted the way people do in show business. You sort of drift different ways. But once the Brat Pack label, the irony is, once that label was sort of cast upon us, which we hated at the time, it was cast sort of in aspersion. It was, now it's become this iconically affectionate, warm and fuzzy term for a moment in pop culture, but at the time it was a pretty negative thing. And the very name Brat Pack made us sort of scatter in a way that probably expedited our sort of drifting apart from each other.
Wow. So honest.
I know.
I love it.
I want to walk the Camino with him. Okay, sorry.
We all do. Thank you for joining us on DBL today. To our viewers, grab a copy of Andrew's book, Walking with Sam, wherever books are sold. We will be right back. Congratulations.
Mazel.
Very cool. Congrats.
Thanks.
I don't know if I can do this. I don't know how much longer I have in me.
Am I burned out? Yes, I've been burned out for quite some time. That stress is compounding.
I need a pep talk right now because I'm not sure if I can come back Monday at this point.
Violeta Duran is a high school English teacher with nearly 20 years of experience. She's burned out, and she's not alone. According to a 2022 Gallup survey of more than 12,000 workers across 14 industries, including other high-stress careers like healthcare and law, teachers in K-12 education are the most burned out. The National Center for Education Statistics says nearly half of all public schools reported full or part-time teaching vacancies that they were unable to fill in 2022. The result? Larger class sizes and less support for the teachers who remain.
The impact is massive. Every student you add on top of that exponentially increases the difficulty in being able to aid every student.
Aid that research shows students sorely need following years of disrupted learning caused by the pandemic. And teachers say they don't have the bandwidth to give. But class size is just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to what students and teachers are struggling with right now. Teachers say when they returned to the classroom full-time, students were less engaged and more prone to behavioral issues. Verify spoke to several current and former teachers who say they're burning out for two main reasons: being overworked and underpaid. Teachers say those factors aren't new, but they've reached a breaking point that might cause your child's teacher to leave the classroom for good.
My pay since I started has not quite doubled, but my rent has tripled.
Throughout her career, Duran's salary hasn't kept up with the cost of living. The average teacher salary in the U.S. during the 2021 to 2022 school year was $66,432. Adjust that for inflation, and it's less than teachers made 10 years ago, according to the National Education Association. And teachers' salaries are not increasing at the same rate as their workload. According to survey data from research organization RAND, nearly 60% of teachers reported working more than they did before the pandemic, with teachers working 6 more hours per week on average. The main reason? teachers had to dedicate more time to creating lesson plans to keep students engaged.
They kind of unlearned how to be students.
Data from McKinsey & Company, a research and consulting group, found that on average, K-12 students fell behind by 5 months in mathematics and 4 months in reading than they were expected to be at the end of the 2021 to 2022 school year. Teachers now have to spend more time to help their students catch up.
I really became very poor at managing my personal time.
Middle school band teacher Sarah Coyce quit in 2021.
My mental health has improved leaps and bounds. I started doing things I enjoy. And it was actually, some of it was music. I realized how much I had stepped away from the thing I loved that got me into teaching in the first place.
Escape to paradise for your chance to win the perfect family getaway. Watch DBL every day for a word of the day. Then enter at dailyblastlive.com/beaches for your chance to win a 4-day, 3-night beaches resort stay for a family of 4 to a beaches resorts destination in Jamaica or Turks and Caicos. Today's beaches resorts word of the day is scuba. The winner will be announced on DBL May 24th.
Welcome back. We've got some great products from our friends at Morning Save. Check them out.
Steph, what do you have for us today?
Hi Tori, hey DBL Nation. I am super excited to show off all of our treats today. Trust me, you're going to be so excited. Check this out. We've got the Neato D8 Intelligent Robot Vacuum Cleaner. So this deal includes 1 robot vacuum with 3 filters, 1 spiral combo brush, 1 cleaning tool, and a charging base.
Nice.
Normally, this is $400, but we've got it for just $119.99, so that's saving you guys 70%. Next up, we've got the Luminara 2-piece indoor moving flame candle set. So this deal includes 2 candles available in 5 color sets. So we've got autumn maple, pearl ivory, white griffin, and chili pepper. So normally, this is $95, but we've got them for $29.99, so that's saving 68%. This is amazing. We've got the 12 South Power Pick charging photo frame.
What?
This deal includes 1 charging photo frame available in either black or white. Now normally this is $80. We've got it for $19.99.
Yeah.
So that's saving up to 75%. And our last product today, Tori, is the JVC Marshmallow Plus True Wireless In-Ear Headphones.
Oh, nice.
So this deal includes 1 pair of earbuds with a rechargeable case and multiple sizes of earpieces.
Okay.
Now, normally these are $60. We've got them for $20, Tori. So that's saving everyone 67%.
Head on over to morningsave.com to snag these amazing deals at the lowest prices, or you can even just scan the QR code right on screen. It will take you directly to these products on Morning Save's website. Again, thank you so much, Steph.
Sam, you texting Mark to chill that shard because it's time for some Vanderpump Rules?
No, it's about the dishwasher leaking.
Bye.